There are entities in fiction and in life that operate beyond simple ambition. What if their entire existence is a meticulously engineered function rather than a natural personality? You are not watching this by accident. You think this is about power. It isn't. It's about fundamental control woven into the very fabric of existence. What you are about to see is not just analysis, but an unraveling of this design. The cost often is your own comfort. For what happens when the architect of control isn't just a character, but a mirror to the mechanisms we tolerate? For many, Makima first appears as a beacon of stability. Calm, collected, impossibly pragmatic, she is the public safety devil hunter, a necessary evil perhaps, but ultimately a force for order in a world constantly teetering on the edge of chaos. Her presence alone seems to quell instability, a silent promise of security. This is the first seductive layer of the illusion. She commands respect, sometimes awe. Her words are precise, her actions decisive. The common interpretation is that she's a strong leader, burdened by immense responsibility, making tough choices for the greater good. Even Denji, in his initial desperate subservience, views her as a savior, a benevolent mistress providing purpose and belonging. He's offered comfort, food, a home. But this interpretation fundamentally misses the deliberate architecture beneath. It's not a person acting, it's a program running. The truth is far less comforting. What seems like composure is a carefully constructed lack of personal desire, a void that allows absolute focus on a singular objective. Makima embodies control not as a means to an end, but as an inherent state of being, an intrinsic function. And this is the mistake everyone misses. Her goal was never simply peace, but perfect, universal submission to her will. Consider her initial interaction with Denji, a dying boy desperate for any shred of affection or purpose. Makima offers him both, but always with conditions. A roof over his head, food, even a soft bed, all contingent on absolute unquestioning obedience. This isn't generosity, it's a leash disguised as an embrace. She binds him through his deepest needs, creating a dependency that mirrors a predator-prey relationship, not a partnership. This is where it breaks the conventional narrative. Her power itself, the literal ability to command those she deems inferior, is a direct manifestation of this design. It is not persuasion, it is decree. Every interaction is a demonstration of this inherent hierarchy, subtly reinforcing her position. Remember the chilling scene where she effortlessly forces the Yakuza to self-destruct? A display of absolute remote control, revealing her true nature not as a leader, but as a system administrator. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Her control extends far beyond physical compulsion. She manipulates perception. Makima cultivates an image of being indispensable, the only one capable of holding the world together. She frames chaos as a problem only she can solve, thereby justifying her continued absolute authority. You begin to question what's truly chaotic or merely inconvenient for her design. What narratives are being spun to make her control palatable, even desirable? Her silence is as potent as her words. When Makima observes, when she merely listens, it's not deference. It's an information gathering exercise, identifying weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and leverage points. She rarely reveals her true motives until they are already in motion, often too late for anyone to counter. Think of her subtle orchestration of the gun devil's pursuit. She lets others chase, while she pulls the strings from the deepest shadows. This strategic lack of transparency fosters dependence. If you don't know her plan, you must trust her implicitly. And implicit trust, without understanding, is the bedrock of absolute control. This is where it breaks for many. They mistake her reserved demeanor for profound wisdom, when it is in fact a calculated withholding. This wasn't growth for those around her, it was containment, a radical reversal of what empathy is thought to achieve. She doesn't inspire loyalty through shared values. She demands it through necessity and engineered devotion. Those who follow her aren't drawn by charisma in the traditional sense, but by the gravitational pull of a seemingly inevitable force. They are cogs in her machine, believing they have purpose, unaware their purpose is merely to serve her deeper, singular function. Her contradictions are not flaws, but features of her design. She claims to desire a world without devils, yet she embodies the very concept of a primal fear, the fear of being controlled, of losing oneself. She presents herself as a protector, but her path is paved with countless sacrifices, none of them her own. This dissonance is key to her manipulation, disarming those who look for consistent morality. When Makima tells Denji he needs to kill Pao-er, an act that tears at his last emotional connection, it's not just a cruel command, it's a test, an exercise in breaking his will, stripping away his independent attachments. The more isolated Denji becomes, the more completely he belongs to Makima. This is not about his personal growth, but his absolute subservience. This is the moment the facade truly cracks, revealing the depth of her callous design. The limitations she appears to possess are often merely opportunities for others to exert themselves, unknowingly furthering her agenda. Her death at the hands of the Darkness Devil, for example, only serves to reveal her true resilience, her deep, almost conceptual connection to the world's fears, solidifying her mythos as an unstoppable force. It's an illusion of vulnerability designed to lower the guard of both her enemies and allies. What about her apparent empathy? Moments where she seems to understand Denji's pain or offer comfort. These are precisely calibrated. A manipulator doesn't just dominate, they also provide relief from the very tension they create. A glimmer of warmth, a promise of acceptance, just enough to reinforce the desired behavior to ensure compliance. It's a cruel feedback loop, anchoring the victim to their oppressor. You begin to realize every comfort comes at a price, and this is the mistake everyone misses. Her desire for Chainsaw Man was not simply for his destructive power, but for the fundamental ability to erase things from existence, to rewrite reality, to remove the very concepts she deems undesirable, including pain itself. Her vision of a better world is one where everything is streamlined, purified, and utterly under her domain. A world without history or choice. She frames herself as the ultimate solution, the only one capable of wielding such immense reality-altering power responsibly. But what if responsibility, in her lexicon, simply means total, unquestioning control? This is not a savior complex born of good intentions. It is a fundamental design specification. Her very nature compels her to regulate, to manage, to own the very concept of order at any human cost. This is the contradiction that defines her. Even her personal attachments are functional. Her dogs, as she calls them, are mere extensions of her will. Aki's transformation into a gun fiend controlled by her is not just a tragic event, but a stark demonstration of her ultimate ambition to transform individuals into tools, their identities subsumed by her purpose, their free will annihilated. This is where it breaks you, this absolute reduction of being into utility. The hybrids, like Rez, are another facet of this design, powerful entities capable of immense destruction yet loyal to her. She offers them an illusion of agency, a role in her grand plan, while holding their true identities, their very lives, hostage. Their existence is a testament to her ability to co-opt and direct immense power, bending it to her will. This is not alliance, it is ownership. Her casual disdain for human life, evident in her constant use of innocence as shields or weapons, isn't malevolence, it's efficiency. To her, individuals are interchangeable resources, their suffering irrelevant to the grander calculus of her objective. This cold, almost scientific detachment from morality is what makes her so terrifyingly effective. It's a machine optimizing for an outcome, regardless of the cost to non-essential units. And this is the mistake everyone misses. The international assassins, powerful and independent, were quickly dispatched or brought under her influence. Not through brute force alone, but through subtle, psychological, manipulation, exploiting their desires, their fears, or their simple ambition. She understands the levers of control for every individual, and she pulls them without hesitation. So what happens when she knows your deepest desires better than you do? Even Pochita, the chainsaw devil, was a target not just for his power, but for his inherent defiance of control. His nature to erase and to be feared, yet also to yearn for connection, was a direct challenge to Makima's systematic world. She sought to domesticate even the concept of rebellious freedom. This struggle is at the core of their intertwined existence. It's a conceptual war, not just a physical one. The very fact that she could orchestrate the assassination of the prime minister and effectively take over Japan's government apparatus highlights her true scale. This wasn't about seizing a single position. It was about integrating herself into the highest levels of power, not through conquest, but through insidious infiltration and manipulation. She became the ghost in the machine, controlling everything from the shadows. And this is the uncomfortable truth about power. Her ability to regenerate from almost any injury, to survive impossible odds, further cements her image as an inevitable force. This isn't just a physical attribute, it's a psychological weapon. It creates a sense of hopelessness in her adversaries, a belief that she simply cannot be defeated. It's a manufactured divine right, reinforced by every wound she shrugs off. You begin to feel the futility of resistance. She creates a cult of personality, not through overt charm, but through the sheer weight of her authority and the promise of a curated future. Her followers, like Kishibe, are drawn to her effectiveness, even if they deeply distrust her. This is not genuine loyalty. It's a reluctant deference to what appears to be the only viable path. And this is where it breaks the illusion of choice. Even for the most cynical, Makima's entire being is a lesson in how absolute control operates, not through blatant tyranny alone, but through the careful curation of reality, the manipulation of needs, and the subtle erasure of personal agency. Her desire for Chainsaw Man was the ultimate expression of this, to not just control the world but to sculpt its very fabric by eliminating undesirable concepts. What you see is merely a symptom of a deeper, more fundamental purpose. So what happens when the very narrative is controlled? The idea that Denji may never truly escape exploitation, a prominent fan theory, isn't a tragic coincidence. It's a direct consequence of Makima's blueprint. Her influence isn't just a character arc. It's a foundational pattern for how control functions in the Chainsaw Man universe. The cycle of trade-offs, freedom for connection, agency for purpose, is established by her, deeply embedded into Denji's psyche. And this is the contradiction everyone misses. Her strategic use of information, feeding just enough to keep her pawns moving without revealing the full board, is masterfully executed. She never overplays her hand. Each revelation is timed to maximize impact, to further isolate Denji, or to eliminate an obstacle. She's a chess player with infinite turns, and every other player is just a piece she can move or remove. You are witnessing a precision instrument. When Makima absorbs the Control Devil and then later is revealed the Control Devil, it's not a struggle for power, but a reintegration. She is the living embodiment of control itself, a concept given form. Her entire being is the desire to dominate, to categorize, to manage. She doesn't have control, she's control. This changes everything you thought you knew about her motivations. She isn't just ambitious, she is existence acting on its fundamental nature. Now, let's confront the truly uncomfortable truth. Why does this resonate so deeply? Because Makima's methods mirror patterns we see in human psychology and in society, far beyond the confines of fiction. The allure of a strong leader promising a simple solution to complex problems, the willingness to surrender agency for perceived safety or a simplified existence. You might feel a flicker of recognition in the desire for a world free of pain, even if it means sacrificing freedom. She preys on the fear of chaos, the intrinsic human desire for order. And in doing so, she reveals our vulnerability to those who promise to banish uncertainty. When you watch Makima operate, you are not just seeing a fictional villain, you are witnessing an archetype of manipulative control that exists in every layer of human interaction, from the political to the personal. Her pursuit of Chainsaw Man's power, specifically its ability to erase names and concepts, is a metaphor for rewriting identity itself, to eradicate uncomfortable truths, inconvenient histories, or simply the very concept of suffering. Imagine a world where all the pain is gone. It sounds utopian, doesn't it? But at what cost to authenticity, to self? This is the fundamental question she forces us to ask. This desire to control narratives, to remove dissenting voices, is a very real threat. Makima embodies the ultimate expression of this. She doesn't just want power over you, she wants power over what you are, over what was, and over what can be. She seeks to design reality itself, to become the ultimate editor of existence. And this is the mistake everyone misses. The illusion of choice is another key weapon. Denji chooses to follow her, chooses to kill, chooses to conform, but each choice is made under extreme duress, with limited information, and with the implicit threat of losing everything he values. This isn't freedom. It's a meticulously crafted cage where the bars are invisible. So what happens when every path, no matter how divergent it seems, ultimately leads back to the same controller? Her lack of traditional emotional expression is chilling because it highlights a complete detachment from human suffering. She doesn't feel malice, she feels necessity. And that makes her far more dangerous than any rage-fueled villain. It's not personal vengeance, it's systemic redesign. This cold, calculating logic is what makes her so effective and so terrifyingly relatable to certain real-world dynamics of power and governance. Her promise of a better world is seductive, precisely because it validates our own yearning for escape from pain. But her definition of better is one devoid of autonomy, where genuine emotion and independent thought are considered flaws to be eliminated. This is not benevolence, it is the ultimate expression of a paternalistic control that deems individual suffering secondary to systemic order. The narrative surrounding Makima often tries to humanize her, to find a tragic backstory that explains her actions. But what if there isn't one? What if she is simply a pure function, a being whose entire purpose is rooted in control, unburdened by the complexities of human emotion? This confrontation with a truly alien intelligence is deeply unsettling because it removes the comfort of understanding her motives. You find yourself questioning your own desires for order. How much chaos are you willing to endure for the sake of true freedom? How much control are you willing to accept for the promise of security? Makima forces this introspection. Her existence is a thought experiment on the limits of autonomy in a world that constantly promises ease if you just give up a little bit of yourself. This is the discomfort she leaves behind. The idea of a good controller is a dangerous fallacy that Makima dismantles entirely. Even if her ultimate goal were genuinely beneficial, her methods demonstrate that the cost of absolute control is always the individual. It's a stark reminder that even well-intentioned power can become a cage simply by denying the right to choose, to err, to simply be messy and human. And this is the contradiction everyone misses. Her final confrontation with Denji isn't just a battle of strength, but a clash of philosophies. Her cold, calculated order against his messy, primal desire for connection and simple pleasures. She represents the ultimate rationalization of cruelty, while he, despite his flaws, embodies the stubborn, illogical essence of individual will. It is a fundamental conflict that reverberates far beyond their personal story. The very nature of devils born from human fear gives Makima an inherent power base. The more humanity fears chaos, the stronger she becomes. She is a self-fulfilling prophecy of control. This cyclical relationship between fear and control is her ultimate design. She doesn't just exploit fear, she thrives on it, cultivating it to consolidate her power. So what happens when the controller is also the very source of our unease? So we return to the quiet disturbance. Makima wasn't merely a villain, she was a meticulously crafted concept designed to challenge our understanding of power, freedom, and the very nature of existence itself. Her story isn't about overcoming a monster, but about recognizing the pervasive nature of certain forces that often exist within us and in the structures we build. Her defeat is not an end, but a recontextualization. Her methods expose our inherent vulnerabilities, the desire for belonging, for security, for a clear path in a complicated world. These are not weaknesses to be condemned, but fundamental human needs that, when exploited, become conduits for absolute dominion. It's a reflection of how easily we can surrender pieces of ourselves for a promise of ease, a promise she expertly offered. This is where the true mirror begins to form. Her destruction at the hands of Denji through the act of feeding her is profoundly symbolic. It is the primal act of consuming and incorporating rather than merely destroying. It implies that true control cannot be simply eliminated. It must be understood, metabolized, and perhaps transformed, but never truly gone. The idea of control, the temptation of it, remains. This is the deeper question she leaves lingering. The essence of Makima persists not as a devil to be fought, but as a concept to be grappled with. The idea that someone or something might seek to orchestrate every aspect of your life, from your emotions to your very memories, leaves a chilling echo. It asks us to look closer at what we accept, what we unknowingly concede, and the quiet ways our agency is traded for comfort. You begin to see the strings everywhere. Her legacy is not one of simple defeat, but of perpetual influence. The lingering question of whether Denji or anyone in that world can ever truly be free from such overarching designs is intentionally left open, because some battles aren't against a person, but against a principle. And principles, unlike individuals, rarely truly die. They simply change their form or their face. Her control was total because it was absolute. It touched every aspect of existence, physical, emotional, even conceptual. It reminds us that the most dangerous forms of manipulation aren't always loud and violent. Often they are quiet, insidious, building slowly until the cage is fully formed and you no longer remember a time outside of its bars. This is the uncomfortable truth about our perceived freedoms. The question of who is truly free lingers long after Makima's demise. Is Denji truly free, or simply under a different set of influences destined to repeat patterns of exploitation? The dark fan theory that he may never truly escape this cycle isn't a pessimistic outlook, but a logical extension of Makima's foundational impact. Her design remains, even if the architect is gone. So what happens when the system is the problem, not just the individual? She serves as a stark reminder that true individual autonomy is a fragile, constantly contested state. It is not a given. It must be recognized, protected, and sometimes fiercely fought for, even against the most comforting or convenient narratives. Her story is a warning, a psychological deep dive into the seduction of control and the terrifying price of perfect order. Her very existence questions the concept of goodness in power. Does a good controller exist, or is the act of absolute control inherently corrupting, regardless of intent? Makima offers a definitive, chilling answer. Her lack of human emotions makes her the purest expression of control, unfettered by empathy, showcasing its raw, unadulterated nature. This is the mistake everyone misses when they seek a benevolent dictator. Makima forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that true freedom might mean accepting the very chaos we often seek to escape. Her story is a chilling reminder that the path to a perfect world is often paved with the erosion of self and the very things that make us human. And in her absence, the question remains who or what is truly pulling the strings now in your own life. The question of who is truly free lingers long after Makima's demise. Is Denji truly free, or simply under a different set of influences, destined to repeat patterns of exploitation? The dark fan theory that he may never truly escape this cycle isn't a pessimistic outlook, but a logical extension of Makima's foundational impact. Her design remains, even if the architect is gone. So what happens when the system is the problem, not just the individual? She serves as a stark reminder that true individual autonomy is a fragile, constantly contested state. It is not a given. It must be recognized, protected, and sometimes fiercely fought for, even against the most comforting or convenient narratives. Her story is a warning, a psychological deep dive into the seduction of control and the terrifying price of perfect order. Her very existence questions the concept of goodness in power. Does a good controller exist, or is the act of absolute control inherently corrupting, regardless of intent? Makima offers a definitive, chilling answer. Her lack of human emotions makes her the purest expression of control, unfettered by empathy, showcasing its raw, unadulterated nature. This is the mistake everyone misses when they seek a benevolent dictator. Makima forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that true freedom might mean accepting the very chaos we often seek to escape. Her story is a chilling reminder that the path to a perfect world is often paved with the erosion of self and the very things that make us human. And in her absence, the question remains, who or what is truly pulling the strings now in your own life? The answer, if you are honest with yourself, is rarely a simple one. It is not always an obvious hand directly manipulating the levers of your existence. Often, the most effective forms of control are diffuse, atmospheric. They are the frameworks we build around ourselves, the societal expectations we internalize, the fears we allow to dictate our choices, and the desires we are told are essential for happiness. Makima understood that humanity, at its core, yearns for direction, for simplicity, for the alleviation of doubt. It is a profound vulnerability, a willingness to surrender agency for the promise of order, for the illusion of a clear path. Her methods were not merely about force, but about cultivating a need for her influence. She didn't just command, she became the focal point for all aspirations, all fears, all solutions. For Denji, she was the giver of food, shelter, purpose, the very definition of a benevolent authority figure, cloaked in a chilling allure. This wasn't just a manipulation of his desires, it was an education in dependence. She sculpted his world, not just through direct orders, but by shaping the very boundaries of his perceived reality, his choices, his understanding of love and family. Even now, after her physical demise, the ghost of her influence dictates the parameters of his happiness, his responsibilities, his very identity. He sought a family, a normal life, who taught him what those terms truly meant and what he should be willing to sacrifice for them. The echo of her voice, her values, lingers in every decision he makes, every interaction he navigates. This is the deeper, more unsettling truth of her legacy. It is not merely a question of whether Denji has found a new master, but whether he can ever truly unlearn the patterns of servitude, the comfort of having his desires managed, his path directed. He operates within a system she designed, a psychological architecture where even rebellion is often a predefined reaction, a predictable component of a larger schema. The concept of freedom itself becomes a malleable construct, defined by the parameters of the current authority. Is one free if their actions are merely a fulfillment of pre-programmed desires, even if those desires feel authentic? This is the core of Makima's genius and her terror. She didn't just control actions, she controlled the definition of self, the very impulse that drives those actions. And this extends beyond Denji. Look at the world she sought to create, a world purged of what she deemed undesirable, a perfect world. This desire for perfection, for absolute order, is a seductive lie. It promises tranquility but delivers conformity. It offers security but demands the forfeiture of individuality. The chaos she sought to erase, the very things that give life its texture, its unpredictability, its raw, painful beauty, are the same elements that allow for true autonomy. Without the possibility of error, of deviation, of the unexpected, there is no true choice. There is only a predetermined outcome, a perfectly curated existence. So, when you consider the strings in your own life, look beyond the obvious. Look at the subtle pressures of conformity, the narratives you unquestioningly accept, the comforts you refuse to relinquish for the sake of an untamed, uncertain self. Consider how readily you trade moments of genuine, terrifying freedom for the predictable rhythms of a controlled existence. Makima's story is a mirror, held up to the collective human psyche. It reveals our inherent desire to be led, to be told what is good, what is right, what is necessary. And in that reflection, the face of the ultimate controller is not always a devil, but sometimes a comforting promise, a shared ideal, or even the reflection of our own unspoken longing for perfect, absolute peace. This is why she never truly dies. Her principle, the seductive logic of perfect control, simply awaits its next manifestation. It merely waits for you to concede,